Hi, my name is Luis Salinas from Beta Shell Cases. Today I want to talk about sizing. Sizing is by far the most common question we get regarding our Beta Shell cases. At Beta Shell, we manufacture 25 different standard Beta Shell case sizes. And within those sizes, we have a variety of series which correspond to not only the size of the case, but also the general construction of that type of case. And so our customers have questions about how to best size a case for a specific piece of equipment. So today we're going to look at some Nikon lenses and we are going to measure them to precisely determine exactly the right Beta Shell case for that piece of equipment. On my right here I have a Nikon 70-200mm lens, and I also have a Nikon 24-70mm lens, which are very common items our customers carry in our Beta Shell cases. So we're going to go through the process of measuring them, sizing them up, and translating how those dimensions, specifically diameter and width, or I should say diameter and length, correspond to a specific Beta Shell model. To get started on determining which Beta Shell case is correct for a certain piece of equipment, all you're going to need is a scale. And so we like to measure all our objects in millimeters, just because millimeters are more precise than inches. Of course, you can do the translation from millimeters to inches and from inches to millimeters pretty easily. So for this example, we're going to use a metric scale, and we're going to measure our object. We're going to measure the length of the object, and we're going to measure the overall diameter. Now, it's important to note that whenever measuring your piece of equipment, in this case a photo lens, you want to measure it in the exact way that you want to transport it. So in this case, I have this 70-200mm lens, and I have the tripod foot mounted, I have the back cover on, I have the lens shade reversed, and I have the lens cap on. That's how I like to carry my piece of equipment. Some people like to do it slightly differently. So as you can imagine, if you add or remove accessories, you could potentially size it for a smaller or bigger case. So to get started, we're just going to measure the length of the object. Now the length is really simple. You literally just take your object and you measure its overall length, just like this. And I'm going to try to be as precise as possible. You want to be within 3 millimeters. So in this case, this object or this lens is about 225 millimeters in overall length. So it's a pretty easy measurement. Now the next measurement is actually more critical because it will determine the series of case that you're going to need. So with Beta Shell, generally our series are ordered in according to the overall diameter that each case can accept. And so when you're measuring diameter of an object, it's important that you measure the full overall diameter of an object, not just the diameter of the front of the lens in this case, right? So in this case here, we have the tripod foot mounted, and we have a pretty large lens. So we're going to want to come across its widest part and measure, and we get about 120 millimeters, okay? And that's because, again, we have the tripod foot mounted. We don't want to come across and just measure, the front of the lens, which is about 100 millimeters. Okay, we want to capture the whole width of the object, and that will ensure a proper fit into one of our cases. You can see if I take this tripod foot off this lens, this object all of a sudden becomes much smaller, and we could potentially go into a smaller case as opposed to requiring a larger case. So I guess what's important to remember is just to make sure that you arrange your equipment the way you want to carry it, and that you capture its full size by measuring its overall length, but its overall diameter as well. Okay, so with this Nikon lens, we looked at its overall diameter, which includes the tripod foot. With something smaller like this, it's actually a little easier because this is a much more uniform object. It's obviously cylindrical, but it has no protrusions on either side. And so we can just simply take our scale and we can measure across the diameter, and we get about 85 millimeters in overall diameter, and we get about 95 millimeters on overall length. And so with those two measurements, we can go back and we can determine what our best beta shell case is. So our beta shell cases are organized on our website with part numbers that indicate the overall diameter that each case can accept, and it also indicates the overall length of an object that can be stored in that case. So if you look on our website, you'll see that. And that way it's pretty easy to determine, yes, my object, in this case a lens, will fit inside that specific case. Okay, what we don't want to happen is that we measure our object and we get a case that's too small. Obviously, you can put a small object into a larger case and get away with that because we have a lot of foam inserts that allow you to do that. But you're not going to be able to take an object like this, obviously, and put it into a small case like this. Okay, so we just want to be aware of that. When it comes to sizing and finding that perfect beta shell for your piece of equipment, we want to get it right. We want to sell you the right size case for the right application and the right piece of equipment. And so we are here to help. If something that I explained today is not clear, please email us and we'll do our best to get you the right information so you can make the right decision about the right beta shell case for you. All our cases have an unconditional fit guarantee. If you're just not happy with the way the case fits your piece of equipment, they can be returned for a full product price refund within 15 days, and we will gladly exchange the case or refund the price of the case. Again, if you have any questions, please email us. We're here to help. And I think there's a lot to learn about these cases. They're pretty unique to the market. We have pretty good amount of videos at this point showing the different construction and the different intended uses for each series. I would encourage our customers to go look at those. I'll put some of the links down below this video. And again, if you have any questions, just let us know and we're here to help. Thank you.